Alright, anyway, let's check out the MGTOW stuff. So, Coach Red Pill has deleted basically his entire channel. I don't know if he just privated the videos for some reason. I don't know what's going on, but he deleted all his videos, and we're talking years of videos here, and now the only video left is a video entitled, Leave Now While You Still Can. I don't know if he moved, like, to BitChute or Rumble or one of these other right-wing, basically unmoderated or lightly moderated sites. Either way, let's check out the video.
Hi there. I haven't been posting much as of late because I've just been with other stuff on my mind, but I'll be reactivating my Gonzalo Lira channel in just a little bit. But before that, I just wanted to put up a video, this video, and it's a message I've been telling my Patreon subscribers, and I'm going to tell you as well. And the message is very, very simple. If you live in any of the democracies of the West, you should leave now. Now, while you still can.
Leave the democracies of the West. Oh, I'm sure this is going to be a reasoned position as to why. Someone just sent me this. Thank you. I'll check it out later.
See, what's happening in the Western democracies is that they are becoming totalitarian. New Zealand and Australia are the models for what is going to happen to the United Kingdom, Canada, the United...
I got people from Australia and New Zealand in my chat sometimes. Any here? How you doing? You doing all right? What do you think of Red Pill guy's advice?
States, the European Union. And if you are unvaccinated...
We already watched this? I don't remember it.
...vaccinated, or if you simply don't cotton to a government dictating your every move and controlling your every move by way of the vaccine passports, well, see, it's going to get a lot worse. I mean, really bad. Some of you might know this, many of you won't, but I studied Russian history. I specialized in the Russian Revolution.
Oh, God.
The two Russian revolutions of February 1917 and October of 1917. And what is happening in the Western democracies is very akin to that situation. And we are going to see, as was seen in Russia in 1917, how a leftist totalitarian regime is going to take over, take power, and crush all opposition.
Red Pill God, or not Red Pill God, that's a different guy. Coach Red Pill, very creative names, all these guys, unironically believes that leftists, which obviously we are so numerous, we definitely aren't an extreme minority in the United States. No, political leftists are going to do a totalitarian takeover of the United States government somehow. Cool. Mike Mack says, how dare the government try to protect me? It's my right to kill myself and others. Narnia Owl says, God, I wish we adopt the New Zealand approach for future pandemics.
They've already taken over the military. It's very, very clear.
Oh, no. He considers milquetoast centrists like Joe Biden to be leftists. There's the disconnect. It's reality.
And a lot of people in the United States especially say, you know, Second Amendment rights and blah, blah, and we got more guns and blah, blah. The American military will crush any kind of armed resistance in the United States, without question, without hesitation. They will crush it using drones. They can drone strike anybody in America. And they will. Any dissident, anyone who tries to forcibly resist what's coming.
What do you think is coming? Genuinely, specifically. I assume you're talking about Joe Biden here for some reason. What do you think Joe Biden's going to do?
Will be annihilated. And everything that they have worked for, everything that they have, will be stripped from them, destroyed. You can't resist what's coming.
Wasn't this the guy that wanted totalitarian stuff? Yeah, I believe this guy thought the government should provide men with wives. I'm not kidding. I'm pretty sure this is the guy that thought that, like, if a man cannot find a suitable spouse, then the government should basically force a woman to be with him. Yeah, and he's worried about the government becoming totalitarian. Only towards him, though, of course. He's fine oppressing others, especially if they're women, but, yeah. He's concerned about other people like him, aka men. Muddy says, not this man. He never came in his life judging by his opinion.
And I know a lot of people are going to say that this is black-pilled, that this is a defeatist attitude. I'm sorry if you think that it's black-pilled. I'm sorry that you think it's defeatist, but it's not defeatist. It's realistic appraisal of what is going on. There is no political opposition to the insanity that has gripped the Western democracies. And they
insanity like vaccines that are good for you? I don't know. Renania Owl says, remember all those January 6th insurrectionists getting drone striked? Oh wait, they got some mild jail sentences at best. Yeah. So far, the biggest one I've seen is the QAnon shaman guy, and I think he got like 3.5 years or something like that. And he's the most. The least I've seen, I think, is 60 days, which they're probably going to get out in 30, if that.
They have gone insane. The governments have gone insane. Bureaucracies, the medical bureaucracy, but also the law enforcement bureaucracy has realized that there's nobody really opposing them. There is a power vacuum. And into this power vacuum, the absolutely most totalitarian people have stepped in, and they are ramping up their totalitarianism. And like I insist, Australia is the future of the rest of the Western democracies. And
oh, sweet. Do we get fucking kangaroos? Yes. I'm getting in its pouch. I don't even care. I know it's not good for it. I'm getting in that pouch. No one can stop me. Ice Queen says, all I'm saying is the Republicans might take back the House in 2022. And, FSM, help us all if they do. But go on and tell us there's no opposition. I'll wait. Yeah. I'm assuming, Republicans are they're definitely taking the Senate. I guess I don't know about the House, but whatever. We'll get 2 years of complete, absolute fucking gridlock, and it'll be laying the path for 2024 for either Trump or some even worse Republican like DeSantis to come in and beat Joe Biden, because Joe Biden's now saying he does want to run, even though when he ran in 2020, he was like, nah, I won't run in 2024. I'll hand it off to someone else and do a primary or whatever. Apparently, he's been talking about running in 2024, and it's like, are you reasonably sure you're gonna wake up tomorrow? Like, you're 80. What the fuck are you doing? I wouldn't trust you to run a Kinko's. You cannot run the country. So, DeSantis is probably gonna win 2024, if I had to guess. That was a tangent. Narnia Owl says, they'll turn the U.S. upside down. Literally. Isaac Inanimate says, is this guy a grifter, a true believer in your opinion? True believer. But also one that makes a lot of money doing it. Profane Priestess says, look guy, I just want healthcare and infrastructure. It ain't that deep.
Australia, today, right now, you cannot leave without government permission. You cannot leave your house except to buy groceries, get a vaccination, or a few other items, and you cannot drive more than 5 kilometers from your home. 5 kilometers is roughly 3 miles.
I don't have an issue with that during a pandemic. I don't. Not even a little bit.
You cannot.
If that information's even fucking true, which I don't know. Not Australian, not from New Zealand.
Not.
I don't remember which one he was talking about there, which is why I listed them both in a row. I know they're separate. I'm trying to head off before someone's like, you know New Zealand and Australia are different. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm just lumping them together.
You are imprisoned in your own home. And you look at videos that are coming out of Melbourne, in Australia, in South Australia, and you see all of the shops are closed, all of the businesses decimated. They don't care. They don't care how poor they make their own nation, so long as they have...
When was this recorded? This came out a month ago.
Have absolute control over the population, over you. That's what they are doing in Australia. That's what they are going to do in Canada, going to do in the United Kingdom, and are going to do in the United States and the European Union. And what is happening with the conservative politicians, the ones that you would think would be standing up for individual rights? Well, they have their arms crossed. Thank you very much. They just have their arms crossed and they're just watching and like, oh, that's bad, you shouldn't do that. But are they actually doing anything to stop this?
I don't understand what you expect them to do if they're the minority in whatever government you're talking about. Again, I don't know what, like, Australian parliament is, but if and I assume they have more than 2 parties, unlike the United States, considering they have a parliamentary system. Again, don't know, though. So speaking out of a complete place of ignorance, I would assume if what you're saying is true, then I'm assuming whatever parties are in control of Australia are not super ultra right-wing fringe people, at least not of the kind that are anti-vax, anti-COVID measures and stuff like that. So what do you expect people in opposition to do if they are in the minority? You lost whatever elections were pertinent. That's how it works. Daddy Sume with 30 bits and a link.
And you never, I repeat, never call a Kiwi an Aussie.
That is, unless you want your ass kicked.
I'm so sorry. I really
Ah. Where did the thing go?
No, they aren't. This left-wing totalitarianism is creeping up. Why? Because for right-wing politicians who are supported by corporations,
So every politician, right and left, basically. Mike Mack says, maybe, just listen for a second. This is a radical idea. People wouldn't have to go through this if they took the pandemic and restrictions seriously early on.
totalitarianism is good. Because the totalitarianism is wiping out the competition of these corporations. And these corporate powers have aligned themselves to the left-wingers, and the left-wingers are decimating independent economic units, small businesses, small farms. They are decimating them. It's on purpose, so that the only economic player left standing are the monopolistic corporations.
So what you're saying is we should forbid large corporations from donating money to political candidates in order to try and stop them from having legitimate means of influencing political decisions that should really be made on the premise of whether or not they're good for United States citizens and not for whether or not they're good for the bottom line of multi-billion, if not trillion-dollar corporations like Apple, Google, whatever. Because if that's your premise, being right-wing is a weird choice considering they are in favor of Citizens United. Overthought says, fun fact, Australia had a PM go missing when he went for a swim in the ocean. They named a pool after him. That feels like a joke. But I'm guessing it's not a joke.
And these monopolistic corporations not only control the things that you buy, the foods that you eat, they also control the means of communication. And they don't allow any competition. Look what happened to Parler a few months ago. They got wiped out just like that. And all of the tech oligopolies all at once decimated Parler because it was competing with Twitter.
Okay. Rumble exists. BitChute exists. Parler was an issue because they weren't moderating anything at all. And, like, child abuse material was being posted there, along with calls to violence, you know, things that pretty famously are not covered under the First Amendment, and therefore Apple was taking exception with them being on the App Store unless they got some sort of moderation going. Eventually, I think they did. I think Parler exists again. Right-wing people just moved on to different things.
And see, these monopolistic...
Simple Cat Girl says, can I get some good luck? Because in the early morning, I'm about to go on a 6-hour flight with my asshole of a dad, and he's already drunk. that so drunk that he was walking funny. Yikes. Good luck. Oh. Yeah, that sucks.
Players are helping one another out so that they have complete control over communications. And what happens when your opponent has complete communication, complete control of your communication?
I know that Parler didn't get any sort of actual trouble on any sort of First Amendment grounds. The point I was trying to make is that right-wingers often will use we just want free speech on social media platforms, and I was illustrating that when you get a platform that's incredibly laissez-faire in its moderation policy in order to create this sort of free speech zone or whatever, you inevitably lead to hate speech, threats of violence, child abuse material. That's the point I was trying to make. And the Apple App Store and I think Google Play apps, both are like, no. Get moderation or get off. Simple Cat Girl says, can I get some good luck? I just read that one, sorry. Nernani Owl says, they made Parler disappear. Trust me. No, don't Google it.
Well, you cannot communicate with like-minded people. You get banned. And so because of that, there isn't going to be any kind of grassroots resistance that will be able to organize and resist this. And we've seen the resistance that's happened in Australia, and it's gotten crushed, and nobody really says anything. And the right-wing politicians are all like, oh, that's okay, because their corporate masters are paying them to acquiesce. And you see the game that's being played? And there's no way to resist this. There's no way to stop it. It is coming. And you think that the sky is falling, Coach Redpill is just freaking out. Okay, fine, See, there are two possibilities. Either I'm right or I'm wrong.
That's a 50-50 chance right there. The math checks out, okay?
If I'm wrong, then in a few months, you'll have left the West, and in a few months, this whole nightmare totalitarian fever dream will have broken, and everybody will be like snapping out of it and saying, what the hell did we do? And they'll...
Or people will have gotten vaccinated enough where we're not in constant worries of lockdowns and stuff, and we just go, oh, I'm glad we did that. I wish people had, complied earlier and more effectively, that we could have been done with this earlier. It's always interesting to me that in their heads, it's never a situation where they could even potentially be wrong. It's always, everyone will be sorry that they didn't listen to us. It's very strange.
Wake up, and in a few months' time, you'll be able to return to the West and continue on.
You know how it's easy to, within a few months, move out of the country with all your stuff and, all the legal documentation, and then immediately choose to move back. We all have the money and resources to do that whenever we want. That's a very reasonable point of view to come at this with.
Because everybody came to their senses. That's one possibility. The possibility that I'm wrong. The possibility that this totalitarianism, people will just snap out of it somehow magically in a few months or maybe a year or two. That's one possibility. Or the other possibility is that I'm right. And the other possibility that I'm right, this totalitarianism becomes worse and worse and worse. And they control every facet of your existence. Your ability to buy food will be controlled by them by way of these vaccine passports.
I don't know if you know this, but your ability to buy food is already controlled by whether or not someone will employ you. That's just how do I put this? Whether or not you buy food is always at the whims of other people, because you need to earn money in some way in order to get currency to buy it, and then when you go to the store, they have to choose to sell it to you. These are all parts of social contracts that we have with one another. Unless you go out and you grow your own food, you getting food is always at the whims of other people. Participate in society. Get vaccinated, loser. Blackwing Hecate says, today I learned totalitarianism is when people disagree with Coach Red Pill.
The vaccine passports are basically a social credit system.
They're not. They're literally not. They say, did you get inoculated for a disease? Yes? Cool. Come and get your Cheerios or whatever you came to buy.
Under the guise of medical assistance, huh? But it's the same fucking thing as what's going on in...
They're trying to protect other people from your dumb, disease-ridden asshole. They're protecting other people from you.
China. With the wrong credit score, social credit score, you can't travel. You can't have a bank account. You won't be able to buy food. You'll be a slave, a prisoner to this totalitarianism.
Man, can you imagine a world in which we all live at the whims of banks and the government? Oh boy. That sure would be a dystopian society, Coach Red Pill. Please talk to me more about how it would be bad for your bank account and the government to determine your rights and what things you can do. Crazy. Daddy Sume says, I can just refuse to sell to certain people at Dollar General. If I'm on manager on duty, I can just do that. I'll eventually get fired, but I can just refuse use service. Yeah, that's how it works.
And it's insane, but if you think it's insane, look back what's happened over the last 20 months. Can you believe what's happened since January of 2020 until today?
The thing that's unbelievable to me is how stupid anti-vaxxers have been. The issue of anti-vaxxers has clearly gotten so big behind the scenes that we did not see it until it was too late. This is crazy. Andrew Wakefield has a lot to fucking answer for. I genuinely wonder, if you counted up all the deaths attributed to anti-vax stuff that was started by Andrew Wakefield and his air quote research, how many people has that guy killed? A lot. I don't know the exact number. Navigator 4 says, what grocery store is asking for a vaccine passport in the USA? Yeah, I haven't seen that. Nick says, remember when conservatives used to want businesses to have the right to refuse service to black people? Remember currently when they still want them to have the right to refuse service to gay or trans people? That's fun.
Can you believe, do you understand what's happened? Now is the last chance you're going to have to leave. And where should you go? You should go to a poor, underdeveloped country. Why? Because they're not going to have the resources to implement this totalitarianism. Simply.
Go gentrify developing nations because you're afraid of basic public health guidelines is a weird take. Baycop 2027 says, do anti-vaxxers count as chuds and tinfoil goons? I would say it depends entirely upon their professed justification for the anti-vax. If they believe something crazy like the vaccine is a secret weapon developed by, George Soros and Bill Gates, yes, they would be tinfoil. If they're just an idiot and they're like, I'm just waiting for long-term studies, even though it's been like a while and they've been developing mRNA vaccines for decades and they know the mechanisms and how they work, like, that's just an idiot. I'd consider that person just a chud. But the Venn diagram is mostly crossover. Ender92 says, wait, COVID is still happening? In Texas, it's over, everyone. No masks, no sick people. Wait, what's that? People are still dying? Coach Red Pill, if you want to live in a place with no vaccines or masks, just move to this shithole. Narnania Owl says, go to a poor country where you could get killed by a criminal gang to own the libs. Daddy Sume says, yeah, go to Haiti, they just murdered their president, or go to Chad, where they just kill others in wars constantly, or even the Philippines, where the president executes drug addicts. Mystical Millennial says, how much of this mentality is what people thought when immigrating to America?
What was that? It doesn't matter if you go to Central America, to Mexico, Belize, Costa Rica, any of the republics in Latin America. It doesn't matter if you go to Africa or the Middle East. The Middle East is becoming a lot more peaceful.
Just all of Africa. Africa, as we all know, is homogenous, and there is no difference between Egypt and South Africa, or Ethiopia, or Morocco. It's all the same thing. Same diff, right? Whatever. It's just a continent.
Now that the Americans are withdrawing, it doesn't matter if you go to Southeast Asia, to any of the poorer countries, that's where you want to be going. Why? Because they will never be able to afford the implementation of this totalitarianism that we are seeing in the Western democracies. That's the issue. See? You want to go to someplace poor, Eastern Europe, the Middle East, Africa, not South Africa, because if you're white in South Africa, you're a dead man. And to my South African listeners, leave. Even if you're black in South Africa, leave. Because what's happening in South Africa is basically a communist revolution.
Tread Pirate Mick says, for context, these lockdowns only happened because Australia was slow to get vaccines. Now we have them and they're incredibly popular. I live in Canberra, probably the most vaccinated city in the world, at between 99 and 100% over 16s having at least one dose. That's awesome. Non-India Owl says, oh, how about North Korea, coach?
And once they've wiped out all of the whites, they're going to start wiping out any of the smarter blacks,
What the fuck is happening in this video?
Of the blacks who have put together a little bit of capital, like they did in the Soviet Union when they wiped out the kulaks. Look it up, Kulaks, the kulaks. They wiped them out because of resentment and hatred. And that's what's going to happen in South Africa. But the other countries in Africa, they'll probably be very safe. Kenya and whatnot, you want to go there. You want to get the fuck away from the Western democracies. I'm telling you, man, once the war with China starts up, which is about to start, it's just perhaps even days away as far as I know,
This video was a month ago. Caller by Emmy says the U.S. should be locking down again. The 2021 death toll has surpassed 2020 when we had no vaccine. Oh yeah, it's bad.
I personally think it's gonna take...
I gotta go get my fucking booster. Ideally, I'm already not gonna be able to get it before Thanksgiving, but I want to get it before Christmas. Holy shit.
Place in the spring, but once that war with China...
Blackwing Hecate says safe. Yes, safe as a grave.
Starts...
I mean, graves are pretty safe. Once you're in the grave, you're safe. You're good. It's how you got there that's usually the issue.
You will not be able to leave the West. You will not be allowed. Because the Western democracies will claim that they are on a war footing, and therefore all transportation, all travel will be curtailed. Everybody will be locked into their homes. And the totalitarianism will be implemented like never before in the West's history.
K.R. Goss says, he would love Kenya. You get immediately arrested for not wearing masks and get searched and metal detected before entering any store or parking lot. That's what I find funny. The United States is one of the laxest, like, in terms of what, let's say what he's saying, Western democracy. We can call it, you know, developed nations, whatever. In terms of developed nations, the United States is incredibly lax on all of our COVID restrictions. We have been so fucking whatever. Like, the rest of the world is taking this so much more fucking seriously. It's a goddamn joke when people like him are like, this is totalitarianism that I have to wear a mask inside the Kmart. Speak the Truth says, I got the Pfizer booster last Thursday. It was great. Oh, cool.
And people won't even believe what is happening, but it will be happening. The war with China is about to start, and it will be the excuse to make of you a prisoner in your own home.
Good luck. Caller by Emmy says, can you imagine a migration of American chuds making it through their first Eastern European winter?
So now is the time to leave. And again, I insist to those people who say that I'm a defeatist, that I'm a coward, because a lot of people are going to say that. Okay, fine. I'm a coward. I don't care. I don't care. Because see, my responsibility, it seems to me, having accumulated the subscriber base that I have, my responsibility is to tell you what I actually think. And realistically, there is no way to fight it. The point of no return has been passed quite some time ago. And it'll be up to historians to figure out when that point was crossed, but it has been crossed. There is no way to fight what's coming. So the best that you can do is liquidate all of your assets. Just sell them all. And it doesn't matter if you get, 60 cents on the dollar, 40
This is the worst advice you could give anyone about anything.
cents on the dollar. Sell them all. Get cash. Get the fuck out of the West.
This is like that time Harold Camping told his followers the rapture was coming and told them to sell all their stuff, and they all racked up a bunch of credit card debt, and then the world didn't end and they were just fucked. Other people does anyone remember that? Blackwing Hecate says he looks like Mirror Universe Surus, and I don't like this knowledge. Bitter Grin says if he and all his followers want to do this, I wouldn't be upset.
Set yourself up in someplace new. I cannot believe I'm making this video. And a lot of you,
either.
I know, are going to look at it and just unsubscribe and just say that I've lost my mind. I hope so. I hope I've lost my mind. Quite
Good news, everyone!
frankly, it would be much better, to my way of thinking, that, I'm just some crazy...
Does he follow his own advice? He already doesn't live in the United States. Him and Tate are the kind of... How do I put this? I don't know if this is a phenomenon people are aware of, but I've learned about it through this guy and Tate, and I think a couple of other people I follow. There's a certain kind of rich person that will become moderately wealthy in the United States. And when I say moderately wealthy, I mean they're wealthy. Like, multi-millionaires potentially wealthy. I say potentially, okay? But they don't feel like their money is enough in America, so they move out of America and they go to some other country with a lower cost of living, buy themselves bigger McMansions than they could buy in the United States, and set themselves up in basically little fiefdoms in whatever developing nation that they want to, or a less prosperous developed country, whatever it is, because their dollar goes further in that country. Tate does this, he does this, although I don't know where Coach Red Pill lives. It's interesting. It's interesting the psychology that must go into being a multimillionaire and deciding I would like to move somewhere where I can feel richer than I already am, even though I'm already rich. Kind of weird. Mike Mack says, conservatives before 2020. These damn immigrants are coming into this great country. Conservatives after 2020. All right, I'm gonna head out.
Crazy YouTuber who's just lost his shit rather than be right about what's about to happen. I truly hope that I've lost my mind, because if not, there's going to be a world of hurt. And that's why I'm urging you, leave now while you still can.
And that's now the only video on Coach Red Pill's channel. According to him, I think he was gonna, start his other channel again, which the name escapes me. I don't know the guy's other channel, nor do I really care. No, I care in the sense that I can, use him for material, so that's definitely a lie. But, is this one? No, that's an interview he did. What is his other channel name? I'll find it at some point. But either way, that's what that guy's up to. Losing it. Oh, look, Jake has covered him multiple times. Anyway, let's see what else we got.